On Saturday, January 15th, Tonga's relatively uneventful island life was disrupted by the eruption of a massive undersea volcano.
New details this morning on that massive volcanic eruption near Tonga last weekend.
Jaw-dropping images of an extraordinarily powerful and now deadly volcano erupting in the Pacific Ocean.
Authorities in the Pacific island of Tonga say the country is facing an unprecedented disaster.
If you search for the Tonga Islands on Google Maps, they look like tiny green specks amid an endless sea of blue. The small archipelago is located northeast of New Zealand and west of Australia, and the islands are home to only 100,000 people, who are mostly involved in growing tropical foods like coconuts, coffee beans, cassava, and vanilla. The nearby volcano rises 6,500 feet above the ocean floor, with only about 300 feet visible above the water. It had already been erupting for several weeks, pumping a flow of gas, steam, and ash into the atmosphere, but the most massive eruption happened on January 15th. An enormous plume of ash and steam was shot nearly 13 miles into the air, sending tsunami waves across the Pacific Ocean. The wave immediately wreaked havoc on the main landmass of the Tonga Islands, and tsunami warnings were issued across the Pacific. Aerial and satellite photos of the island show the dramatic damage from the tsunami that the eruption created. Footage shows coastal towns as far away as Peru getting flooded, resulting in at least 2 deaths. And as a ship was loading oil into a refinery on the Pacific coast, it was hit by the huge waves, causing a detrimental oil spill in the country. On the American West Coast, tsunami warnings raged and authorities instructed people to stay away from the water. Most heeded the warnings, but many California surfers, anglers, and beachgoers ignored them and were seen near the water in videos and photos shared on social media. Some even had to be rescued from the ocean. In San Francisco, 2 surfers were pulled out of the water and about a dozen beachgoers had to be evacuated. Santa Cruz's water was full of adrenaline seekers, even though their harbor was flooding and is now facing over $6.5 million in damages. Videos from Oregon showed the waves reaching thousands of miles from the site of the volcano. Larger than usual tides were similarly picked up in Japan, New Zealand, and Canada's British Columbia. So basically hitting the entire Ring of Fire, home to 3/4 of the planet's active volcanoes and 90% of the planet's earthquakes. And eruptions in the Ring of Fire can pack quite a punch. The most powerful eruption in living memory happened with Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines, which sent a gas cloud around the entire planet in 1991. The strongest earthquake in recorded history, a magnitude 9.5 quake that happened in Chile in 1960, was also in the Ring of Fire. But with this most recent Tonga Islands eruption, experts warn that we might just be getting started. University of Auckland Earth Sciences professor Shane Cronin wrote that when he visited the volcano in 2016, he discovered a hidden caldera, a crater-like depression around which small eruptions occur. Using radiocarbon data, Cronin's team predicted that the caldera would see huge eruptions every 1,000 years, with the last one happening in 1100 AD. So the most recent eruption is right on schedule. Cronin clarified that the volcano is still in the middle of this major eruptive sequence. The last big eruption stepped up the scale in terms of violence, indicating that the large Hunga caldera has indeed awoken. However, it's possible that we haven't seen the worst eruption yet. But as Cronin writes, for the sake of the people of Tonga, we hope that the action is over. For the latest news and updates, go to dailywire.com. I'm Brett Cooper, thanks for watching.